Hello, this is Brian Houle. I am a solutions consultant with Beyond 20, and today I want to talk about creating dependent tasks via one-steps in Cherwell Service Management. Today I'm working in the 5.11a tool, and to give some context, a dependent task is really just one task that depends upon another for it to begin. So the completion of the upstream task is the trigger for the dependent task. And that can be a very powerful way of creating business logic in Cherwell Service Management. And I'm going to go over how to do this using a new employee onboarding as an example. So here I have a service request open. It's been assigned to Andrew Sims, and this is all demo content, of course. And the ticket is filled out, and we have a specifics form on the ticket that we have new employee's name, where they begin, some order details and such, and we can go down and we've got a computer ordered and software ordered and some additional info. And this is all out of the box content. This comes shipped with Cherwell. It's a very useful specifics form. So let's have a look at how we would do this. So to create some dependent onboarding tasks, here's our tasks here. Now I can do this manually. You can create any task through the tabs here, and I can link it to an upstream task. But I don't want to do this manually, since this onboarding process is, it has to follow policy. It tends to be the same for every employee, so it's a great candidate for automation. So we'll go ahead and look at how that would work. So let's go into our one-step and one-step manager to look at how we might create a dependent task. So here I just have a create onboarding tasks one step. And I would recommend having a look at our video on our YouTube channel regarding nested one steps. And that is a great way to encapsulate some of your business logic using one steps so that you can better manage it. In other words, a nested one step is when you call a one step from another one step. And in creating tasks in a workflow like this, that can be very powerful. Right now I'm just working with a single one step. So let's edit this guy. And very basically, I'm just going to create the first task in our list, and then I'm going to create a dependent task with that first task as an upstream task. In other words, the second task will depend on the completion of the first task. So let's look at what I'm doing here. So I'm going to create a child business object step, because task is a child of incident. And to do that, we create the step, we set our business object to task, give it a descriptive name, and here I'm entering my title, which I put a 1 here because I like to know my steps in order. And this one is just to enroll the new hire in orientation training classes, offered no later than start date plus 14 days. And the start date we've captured in the specifics, and this is merely an expression that picks that date up. And secondly, the owned by team is going to be set to the incident owned by team. And finally, we just have a description to order the standard course packet and contact a new hire for lunch preference. So we'll click OK. Now the second step we're going to perform here is to create a variable and set the rec ID, or the record ID, of this first task as the value of this variable. So let's have a look. So we're performing an update, a variable or stored value, and I'm putting in a task 1 rec ID as the name, and I like to name the name of the step and the name of the variable the same thing. It makes it easier to read. It's going to be type text because that's what rec ID is, and here I'm just grabbing the token for task.recid. So I'm clicking OK, and I'm going to save that, and that will work because when I create this task, you'll notice that I've got make new record current selected. So that just ensures that when I access the current record on task, you'll notice down here when I go to task in the tree, current record. So I want to make sure that that is set. Next, I'm going to create my dependent task. So again, I'm just adding a new child business object. So I'm creating a child business object. And if I edit this guy and only show my set fields, we'll do my owned by team, my title, which is just to confirm the enrollment. And I can do things like I can set dates for this, so if you want to confirm it 1 day before the class is offered. You can really put in a whole bunch of business logic. I'm just keeping it simple for now. And the dependency, this folder carries all of our dependency fields. And so I'm going to populate the depends on rec ID field in our new task with the value of our variable, which is the task 1 rec ID that we've captured in the previous step. And I'll just make this record current as well if we need to. And I'm going to save the business object after this step. So I'll click OK. And what that is essentially doing is we're creating a task, capturing that task's record ID so that we can create a dependent task and then apply that value from the variable to the appropriate field to create the dependency. So I'll click OK. And this is a very simple example. If you were actually doing this in a real life workflow, you would have a lot more complexity here. But this is the basics. Is to create your record, use the very useful variable function to capture that ID, and then go forward with your dependent tasks. So if I click Run, we've automatically created 2 new tasks. So I've got my first task here, which is to enroll the new hire in orientation. And then I probably should have put in a 2 here so we know that it's the second task. We can go ahead and change that real quick here. And then our second task, you'll see I've got this sort of forbidden icon and a red bar that says dependency has not been met. So if I click that, it tells me that the first task must be completed before this task can be started. And there we go. And it gives my task ID as well. So I can look at my list and say, all right, well, task 2 depends on task 1. And that is a very cool thing. We can also maximize, if you will, or go to record on our dependent task. And if you'll notice, it will show me my upstream task. And there you have it. This has been a very basic example of how to create dependent tasks in Cherwell Service Management using one-steps. Again, look at the nested one-step video on our channel. It's very useful in conjunction with this in creating more complex workflows. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe to our channel for more Cherwell videos. Thank you.